I grew up in Rocklin for a big part of my childhood, and I've seen the city change a lot. I lived in the neighborhoods, spent some time in the schools, and of course spent a lot of time in the growing traffic. And I've watched a lot of new neighborhoods take place over the years. So if you're thinking about moving to Rocklin in 2026, I want to give you a realistic breakdown, because online photos and those real estate websites, well, they just don't actually give you the feel of the neighborhoods here. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through my personal favorite neighborhoods, top areas to live, and of course, a few hidden gems towards the end. And I'm gonna do it all on a map so you know exactly where all these areas are located. And by the end, you'll know which parts of Rocklin fit your lifestyle and which ones might not. So let's jump into it. Here's my full breakdown on moving to Rocklin, California. Now, starting off with the general location of Rocklin, it's in Placer County, which is northeast of the Sacramento area, really about a half hour to downtown Sacramento, and you should probably allow about 30 to 40 minutes to get to the Sacramento International Airport. And Rocklin is really a standout suburb to live in. One of the main features about Rocklin is not just the nice areas and neighborhoods and shopping, it's the school district. A lot of people want to be in the Rocklin Unified School District, known for its higher scores. But also you have access to the local Sierra Community College and William Jessup University, which is more of a private school in Rocklin as well. Now, to pull it up on a map, we're gonna see that Rocklin really lies between Highway 80 and Highway 65. Right here, you're gonna have Highway 80 running from south to north up towards Auburn, and you're also gonna have Highway 65 here running across. And you'll see there's a major intersection right here off of Highway 65 and 80. Now, this area in general right here can get pretty congested because you are at the intersection between essentially Rocklin and Roseville. And Roseville is a very popular suburb here as well, which you probably have heard of if you're watching this video. And right in this area is going to be the Galleria or the Galleria Mall area, which tends to get a lot of traffic, especially during the holiday season. But it's also a very popular area for people to shop, especially living in the neighboring cities. Okay, so now we're gonna jump into some of the top areas and really the more recognizable areas in Rocklin. These might be some standout neighborhoods to you, but I'm also gonna include some hidden gems and some neighborhoods that don't really get mentioned in a lot of videos like this. So stick around, I'll be sharing that towards the end. And one of the first communities, really one of the most popular areas to live, is gonna be Whitney Ranch. Now, if you're not familiar with Whitney Ranch, it is basically a newer master plan development that's been growing since the early 2000s. One of the reasons people really love Whitney Ranch is it's got a newer community feel, very family friendly, and a lot of newer schools are in that area as well. One of the things that makes Whitney Ranch stand out is that it's actually going to be part of an HOA, which includes access to a clubhouse with pools, spas, cabanas, event center, I mean the whole 9 yards. So for a very small HOA fee of about $80 or $85 a month, you have a lot of amenities within that small fee for the community. Now, just to pull it up on a map here, I'll show you kind of the location here. Now, Whitney Ranch is going to be really in the further north part of Rocklin, if you will. You're going to be going up Highway 65 and really exiting right around here. So that may be even a drawback for some people. If you are someone who's commuting a lot, you may not want to drive that far or go up that far. One thing to notice here is that right here on Highway 65, traffic can get pretty jammed, especially right now during the holiday season. It is a more narrow highway, so because of that, traffic has started to build up because there's been a lot of new construction going on in this northern part, especially headed towards Lincoln. Now, when we jump into Whitney Ranch here, one of the things that makes it a standout area is, first of all, it's a lot of newer construction, a lot of newer homes that were built since the 2000s. And even right now, there's a few builders in there as well. But one thing for Whitney Ranch is it's essentially running out of land. There's a lot of preserves, open spaces, basically a lot of beautiful trails, and kind of has this hill and nature effect on the backside of Whitney Ranch. So a lot of the builders that do have the lots now are essentially building some of the last homes to be built in Whitney Ranch. One of the nice parts about Whitney Ranch is that as you kind of go further back here, more inland, if you will, off of the freeway, you start to see a little bit of a difference in the kind of the neighborhoods. You start to see a little bit of a higher price point. Now, most of the homes here in Whitney Ranch are really more of stucco homes, and there's really not a lot of custom or semi-custom going on in the area. But pricing here can start from about the 700s well up to over the $1 million mark. And if you are looking for something a little bit more affordable, there are some condos in the area where pricing you can get in around the 300s more or less. And one of the reasons why Whitney Ranch is so popular, and really Rocklin as a whole, is going to be because of the highly rated school district. Here you're going to be part of the Rocklin Unified School District, which tends to have higher rated schools in the area. And Whitney Ranch specifically also has access to Whitney High School, which is a popular high school in the area with high ratings as well as some newer elementary schools, including Quarry Trail Elementary School. Now, one of the more exciting things coming specifically to this Whitney Ranch area is going to be the new Nugget Shopping Center. Now, if you're not familiar with Nugget, it's a more popular grocery store here in the area, and it's actually going to be opening up right here off of Whitney Ranch Parkway and I believe University, right in this area. And this is going to be also one of the exits kind of leading your way into Whitney Ranch all across in this suburb neighborhood. Now, one thing you'll notice too, and this is just kind of a side note, if you're still open to other areas besides Whitney Ranch, or you like this general feel, another great area just north of here is going to actually be 12 Bridges, which is just north of this line right here. So if you are someone who's open, you like the feel of Whitney Ranch, maybe you're not finding the specific house or the inventory that you like, but if you just go just over into Lincoln, 12 Bridges is also a spectacular master plan development in the area that's worth checking out. And over the last couple of years, we've helped a lot of families move into the Whitney Ranch area. Of course, it's been the big draw of a great place to live, family friendly, and of course the great schools. But one drawback to the area that you may want to consider is going to be the higher Mello-Roos, or the higher taxes in general. Since it is a newer master plan development, I have seen the Mello-Roos here tend to be a little bit higher. So that is something that you're gonna wanna consider when buying a home. And if you're new here, my name is Sam with the Sacramento Relocation Guide. We're a local family-owned business here in the area, helping people relocate into the Sacramento region. So whether you're thinking of buying or selling a home, we'd be happy to help you out. We literally help people on a weekly basis. You can also check out some of our reviews online to see what other customers are saying. Again, if you are needing some help, please feel free to reach out. Our information is always right there in the description. All right, so let's get into another one of my personal favorites, and that's gonna be Whitney Oaks. Now, Whitney Oaks is really centered around its prestigious golf course, and there's a lot of various communities around here. So you can either start into more suburban style homes, starting in the 700s, 800s, well up into the multi-million-dollar luxury market. Whitney Oaks is really known for some of its smaller, private gated communities. So if you're looking something with a little bit more upscale, affluent feel, Whitney Oaks definitely has that. Now, to pull it up on a map, Whitney Oaks is actually not too far from Whitney Ranch, as we covered. If you go kind of right down this way, Whitney Oaks is right around here. So it's really more inland from Whitney Ranch. Now, that is going to be maybe one of the pros and cons, depending how you look at it. If you want to be kind of further away from the noise, not too close to freeways, this is going to be great because it's really tucked back there. It really has a foothills feel to it, a lot of rolling hills, green, mature trees all around, and really nice, beautiful high-end estates. But at the same time, you're not going to really have quick access to the highway by any means around here, especially with 65 rolling through all the way down here. So that is going to be kind of a pro and con that you may want to consider. The other thing too is that there's not a lot of new construction or new inventory here in Whitney Oaks. Whitney Oaks is pretty established comparatively to places like Whitney Ranch and some of the other new build areas that I'll get into later in this video. So if you want something that's a little bit more established, a little bit more private, kind of got that golf course country club feel, this is going to be it. Now, Whitney Oaks as a whole has a variety of smaller communities. So if you want to be somewhere around the golf course right here, you're going to start to see a lot of semi-custom and custom homes around here. Homes really ranging over that $1 million mark. Now around here as well, and not particularly right on the golf course, you still have beautiful, smaller gated communities where homes are a little bit more semi-custom, maybe custom, around $1.5 million more or less. Now outside of there, homes tend to get a little bit less expensive. So if you wanted to, you can get definitely into more of a suburb type of home, 2-story, 1-story, starting in the 700s or 800s. Now, on that note as well, if you are interested in maybe more of an active adult community, you're looking to retire, you're looking for some place with activities, pools, kind of a community that you can get a part of, there is a community called Springfield at Whitney Oaks, and that's going to be the active adult community here that was built years ago, and it's still a wonderfully well-kept community even today. I hope you're enjoying this video about Rocklin. If you are, consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing. It really helps us out as we release new videos every single week on this channel. And if you'd like to know more specifically about Rocklin, I'm going to link a few videos down below, so make sure to check those out after this one. All right, so now we're gonna jump into our next top area, and that's gonna be Stanford Ranch. Now, Stanford Ranch, in my opinion, is gonna be one of those areas where you can get a lot more bang for your buck. It's not as expensive as Whitney Ranch or even Whitney Oaks, and it's really a great kind of spot, centrally located in Rocklin, where you got quick access to shopping, schools, and it's really a community feel right there. Homes tend to be a little bit older. I'm seeing a lot of the homes in this area starting in the 1990s into the early 2000s, but you can still get really nice remodeled homes at a much more affordable price. Stanford Ranch is kind of right here in this quarter off of the 65 right here. One of the kind of parts of this area that really makes it stand out is that you have quick access to Highway 65 here running through, but also, as I mentioned earlier in this video, Galleria, all the shopping that Roseville has to offer is really close by, probably about 10 to 15 minute drive, more or less. Now within Stanford Ranch as well, you kind of have another main road of Stanford Ranch Road. And on that road, you're gonna have a lot of shopping. You have a Bel Air, Safeway shopping plaza as well, and even the big Twin Oaks Park, which is really notable because every year there's a huge 4th of July festival there as well. So if you want to see fireworks with the family, you could see it through various parts of the neighborhood here. Now, the neighborhood is pretty mixed and pricing can definitely change here. I mean, for homes in Stanford Ranch, you can get anywhere in the mid upper 500s, well to the $1 million or more mark. But I'm seeing a lot of the families that we've helped move into the area really spending probably 600, 700, 800,000 more or less. So when you're comparing it to some of the other areas that I've mentioned in this video, you're gonna see that Stanford Ranch, you can kind of get your dollars to go a little bit further. Now the homes aren't as new. They're gonna be roughly 20, 30 years old, more or less, but a lot of them have been updated or well cared for. So you really just have to find the right house that fits for you. So to finish it off, Stanford Ranch is gonna be one of those places where people who want to be kind of central to everything and maybe even have a lot of the amenities that Roseville has to offer right next door, Stanford Ranch is going to be a great place for that. For those people who want to get a little bit more value for their money, who want to be in an area that's relatively newer, not brand new, and it's really not too old either. So if you want to be kind of somewhere in the middle, it's going to be a great place to land or at least check out. All right, and if you're looking for an area that's still close to all the action, but maybe a little bit older, has a little bit more charm and variety of homes, maybe even something that's kind of been remodeled and revamped to your tasting, something that has brick on the front of the houses, maybe lap siding, that just has a little bit more charm than a lot of these stucco homes around here, well, Sunset Whitney might be a good option for you. It is also right here, really close to Highway 65 and 80, and this is, I think, one of the reasons why it stands out to me. If you are someone who maybe wants to avoid Highway 65 traffic, like I've talked about before, Highway 65 can get pretty jammed up right here, but if you take back roads right here, you can get onto the 80 fairly quickly. So there is ways out of here, just depending on what traffic is doing. But Sunset Whitney is one of those areas that's kind of under the radar. A lot of people don't know about it, especially when they're just researching Rocklin. They're hearing about just the few popular areas. But one thing that really stands out to me is that you're still close to all the action here. If you want to drive, you don't even have to hit the freeway. You could take roads here, get to Galleria, get to the Costco right in this area, basically take advantage of all the shopping and amenities that Roseville has to offer. And if you want to be in a community that has a little bit more charm to it, as I've mentioned, I mean, these homes are going to be a little bit older. A lot of the homes here are built in the 70s, the 80s. I've seen some in the 90s and even early 2000s. So that's going to be one of those kind of older neighborhoods within the area. But one of the things that makes it stand out, and I'll show it here on a map is because they actually have basically a parkway or kind of like an established greenbelt area that is somewhat protected. And this green area right here, you can see on my map, is basically now a converted kind of parkway, if you will. This is actually an old retired golf course, and it was run down for many, many years. I remember even seeing properties that back up to this golf course right here, and it was just run down. No one was using it. And I believe the city of Rocklin came in and took it over and basically created beautiful trails all through here. And it's really green, luscious, especially in the spring and fall. When it's not too hot, it's really green around there. But a lot of people are going from these neighborhoods around this area, parking over here or walking from within their neighborhoods, jogging on these trails, walking. I've done a ton of it myself. Me and my wife have walked here many, many times. And especially during sunset, it's truly a beautiful place to check out. So if you want to be in an area that's a little bit more older, established, and has access to trails like this is going to be a hidden gem in my opinion. Now, after switching my map here, you'll see that we're also next to another large park in the area right here. And this is going to be Johnson Springview Park. This is a very large park with a community center. It's got a dog park. I believe it still has a skate park, and it's just a massive park in the area that you can get to fairly quickly. Not only that, it's next to Springview Middle School, which shout out to them. I actually went to that school a very long time ago. But around there, you also have a disc golf course. So if you're someone who's into disc golf, it's kind of got this beautiful nature area, which is a huge and really nice park here in the Rocklin area as well. And the last thing here that I'll mention about this area is that you're actually close to downtown Rocklin or Old Town Rocklin, whatever you want to call it. Basically, this is just kind of a strip of a couple boutique shops, little shops around there and stuff like that. Not too much going on, in my opinion. I know some people may fight me on that, but one of the cool things about this part of Rocklin is actually Quarry Park Adventures right here. If you haven't heard of Quarry Park Adventures, essentially it's an old quarry, basically where they were digging out stones and rocks, and it's like a huge hole out of nowhere. Back in the day, this area was sectioned off and closed off. I remember even being a kid walking past it. It was just a huge gaping hole. They've basically overtaken it and created zip lines, a bunch of activities where you could go with your kids and do some rock climbing and some really cool stuff around here. So I would definitely check that out. Big shout out to Quarry Park Adventures for doing that and kind of doing an overhaul of an area that wasn't really used anymore. So to kind of finish it off on the Sunset Whitney area, this is going to be one of those zones where if you want older homes, something possibly remodeled, or maybe even a fixer, your money's going to go a little bit further here. Pricing here can start in the 600s, 700s, and well into the $1 million mark, depending on the home. Of course, there are some homes at a little bit lower price point there as well. So there is a little bit more affordability in this area. But if you're looking for a home with some charm, you want to be next to some beautiful walking trails, that greenery, and more of an established neighborhood, this might be a good fit for you. All right, so I mentioned I would get into some hidden gems, and I wanted to finish it off with an area that really gets overlooked many, many times of people looking on moving into Rocklin. But it's an area I'm very familiar with and grew up not far from, so I might be a little bit biased, but I think the location is spectacular and away from some of the traffic off of Highway 65. I'm gonna kind of bring up this area, and if we were to go up Highway 80 here, and zoom in, we'd really be going on the north part of Rocklin and really in this section right here. Now you would see here that we have Sierra College. Now this is a really popular area, and speaking of schools, highly rated schools in Rocklin, but also Sierra College, the community college. I also went there, so I can't get away from the school system here. But Sierra College, also pretty great school for a community college. Would highly recommend checking it out. But the area we're really going to be focused on is going to be south of the Sierra College area. And it's going to be right here, right off Rocklin Road and 80. Now, this is going to be a great corridor because it's got quick access. Now, in this area, we're going to be talking about this as a whole. So if I can just kind of quickly mark this, you have a lot of homes right here just down the hill. This is going to be Sierra College Boulevard. Now, Sierra College Boulevard, if I was to zoom out, connects you from Highway 80 all the way down to Highway 50. So if you are someone who wants that access to Highway 50, you can do that this way. It's just going to be a bit of a drive. But right here in this neighborhood, you're gonna see a lot of older homes, probably about 30, 40 years old. And up here, basically you're gonna be going up a hill right here, and on the top of this hill is gonna be another segment of homes. So you have two segments of homes here. These are gonna be newer homes, probably built in the last 25 years or so, since the early 2000s. Gonna be kind of higher price points. And then down here, you're gonna have some lower price points, a little bit more character and charm. So if you wanna see single story homes with like brick on the front, a little bit more mature trees and vegetation, gonna be right around here. But really, we're gonna be talking about the overall general location here. And why I'm bringing up this area and kind of look at it, I'm not gonna go into homes specifically, is because you also have the new Costco here. Now this Costco is technically in Loomis, but it's so close on the border right here. Right here off Highway 80 and Sierra College Boulevard is a massive exit where you're gonna have all your shopping right here. This is where you're gonna have like Walmart, Target, Trader Joe's, Green Acres if you wanna do some landscaping. I mean, I believe it has a Home Goods or TJ Maxx, a bunch of stores like that. So if you want to get your grocery shopping done, you want to have access to stores like that. I believe Bass Pro is in there. So if you're an outdoor enthusiast, I've been there a bunch of times. That's a great little shopping area right here. And so you're going to have a lot of good proximity. If you also want some quick restaurants, you have In-N-Out over there. You also have Chick-fil-A. You have a lot of little shopping and dining right in that area. So again, with the new Costco right there at the border, this is basically a hot zone for this part of Rocklin. So again, if you want to get away from a lot of the madness on Highway 65, I know there's plans to widen the highway, but as of right now, you are going to be seeing some traffic congestion going into Roseville, Rocklin. This is going to be a great segment of area to check out, in my opinion. Now, prices of homes here can range quite a bit. Here in the lower portions, I talked about earlier, you're gonna start to see homes probably in the 600s, 700s, 800s, maybe a little bit above that. Further up the hill, going closer here towards Roseville and Granite Bay, pricing does increase. Those homes are probably gonna be in the 900s, low millions. But this is an area that I would definitely check out if you are thinking about moving to Rocklin. It's gonna be more of a hidden gem that, unless you actually live here, it's gonna be a great area for that quick access, commutability, and not having a lot of traffic, which is super important. Now, if you are someone who's looking for something a little bit more luxury, semi-custom, possibly custom homes, I'll be reviewing a new build coming here into the area. But before we get into that, there's a neighborhood really close by in this section of Rocklin that I'm talking about, and it's gonna be right in here. So if you kind of travel in off of Rocklin Road exit, there's actually a neighborhood here off of this street, Greenbrae. And in here, you're gonna see a lot of semi-custom, beautiful homes. And even the further south you go here, you're gonna see a lot of custom homes as well. So if you're looking for something a little bit more high-end, it definitely is offering homes in that 1.5 and up price point. Now, of course, I had to finish off this video with an exciting new construction development being opened up right now in Rocklin. And it's not in Whitney Ranch where everyone is kind of used to the new homes being built there, but this is actually not too far from the area we just were looking at. This is going to be Vista Oaks by Toll Brothers, and this is an exciting new luxury community opening up right here in Rocklin. We were talking about these homes just north of this area near Sierra College, but Vista Oaks is going to be right down here, and it's really on the border of basically the East Roseville area. Now, like you're going to see around here, Sutter, Roseville Medical Center, which is a really popular area here in Roseville, but it's going to be right on this border of East Roseville. So Rocklin is kind of in this segment of what we were talking about. But Vista Oaks in particular is going to be a luxury new home community by Toll Brothers, which is of course a notable luxury builder in our area. Now, this new community is only expecting to have about 46 lots. So it's generally going to be a smaller community segment here on the East Roseville Rocklin border. And these homes are going to be more luxury. So of course the price point is going to be a little bit higher. As far as what I'm seeing, the prices are starting in the low millions and can go well on up from there depending on the elevation, interior upgrades, and of course if there are any lot premiums. And the community is expected to have 3 different floor plans from what I'm seeing. And those are going to range from about 2,500 to over 4,100 square feet. Now, the great thing about this location is you're going to be next to East Roseville and all the amenities that Roseville has to offer. So if you're looking to be on the up and up, want to be in a brand new luxury home, and of course being built by Toll Brothers, there is something to be said about that. Now, there are other new construction developments outside of this one that are going on in Rocklin. A lot of them tend to be in the Whitney Ranch area, as we discussed earlier. And if you'd like to know more about new developments like this, you can reach out to my team, as we specialize in new construction sales here in the area, and we'd be happy to share some info and some upcoming developments here in Rocklin. Well, there you have it, my full breakdown on moving here into Rocklin. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review and the breakdown on where different areas and neighborhoods are. And I hope it kind of helped you find the right place to live here in Rocklin. And if you're still looking for more information on moving here to Rocklin, California, I'll link a few videos down below, so make sure to check those out. And if you are considering moving here into the Sacramento region, whether it's this year or next year, we'd be happy to get the conversation started and at least point you in the right direction. So reach out anytime for a quick consultation call. You can give us a call or text. Our information is right there in the description. My name is Sam. I'm with the Sacramento Relocation Guide. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you on the next one.